and welcome to this micro demo. Today we're going to talk about Canary deployment and how AppViewX F5 GTM and LTM can help you deploy an application in the Canary model. You can get to the dashboard via two different ways. You can get to the dashboard by clicking on the dashboard link, or you can set up the dashboard page in your service catalogue. There are two widgets we've created. Creditcards.bank.application has got 3 data centres: New York, London and Singapore. And each one is taking equal percentage of traffic. And here in the live traffic statistics, this will tell you the amount of connections going to each of these data centres. These are client current connections, and you see here that it shows 8, 6 and 2. Refresh that and you'll see the latest connection. And this gives you a live graph of the current connections going to each of those data centres. Here, green is Singapore, orange is London, and then blue is New York. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take Singapore data centre out of service, and I'm going to route the traffic to London. Let me show you. London and New York. So let's say I send 90% of the traffic to New York. It gives me a warning that you're sending the majority of the traffic over to one data centre. Let's say I just do 50-50 then, and only when it's 100 it will allow me to apply. SYN DC out of service, CHG 305. What this does is it goes and updates the GTM to update the percentage across the data centres. Because the wide IP creditcards.bank.com has a ratio-based load balancing, and it updates the ratio to 50-50 so that any new connections goes to these two. It also has a rule to state to bring down Singapore VIPs so that no new connections can come in or any existing connections can continue, but then no new connections can enter. So you can see right here that the traffic from Singapore has dropped to 0. You can see it here also. 8 and 5 and 0, that's the connection at any point in time. And here it is consistently 0 for Singapore. And now Singapore is out of service. So let's say my traffic is all done, my release is done now. Singapore has the new version, so I don't want to bring it back up full swing. So I would basically send 10% of traffic there and take 10% of the traffic from London and apply to Singapore. Once we do that, 10% change through 06. When Singapore was 0, it showed disabled with the black dot here. So once we update it, that black dot disappears, which means that the VIP has been enabled. Now it's started getting traffic. So there is one connection going to Singapore, and then everything else is still going to New York and London. So you'd be able to see it on the graph here as well as to when the traffic increases. Now the settings. If you want to see the settings, here is the rule, which says that when it's equal to 0, disable this virtual, and it's above 0, enable this virtual. It says this here. When it is equal to 0, then disable this virtual. Statistics that you see there, what parameter you want to see, traffic percentage, which pool you want to apply or which pool member. The green status, where should it come from? All that is configurable. So the green box that you see is a status of the VIP. This one number comes from the current connections of the virtual server. This 10% comes from the GTM's ratio setup. All of this data is presented with restrictions as well. So the warning is set up here, where I set up a warning. And if it's above 75%, you can have a custom message for that one. So that gives you a way of how you can set up the Canary deployment, and you can share the dashboard to the Level 1 Ops team or Application Ops team. And they can use this to manage the release without logging into any F5 or in DNS or anything like that. That's all for now.